Hi, I'm Jill with Close to My Heart, and today I want to show you a fun way to ink and emboss your paper. This technique doesn't take very much time, but it gives your artwork such a unique look. Let me show you two finished cards that both have embossed paper with inking. This one has sort of a brushed look here with the diamonds, so you can see that the texture from the embossing folder really pops. And then on this one here, you can see on the embossed portion down at the bottom that there's like more of a splattered feel, that the watercolor look has come through on this embossed portion, and it's a really fun, messy sort of look. So let me show you how to recreate each of these looks. We'll start here on the Hugs and Kisses card. So first you want to cut your paper to the size you'll need. Mine is just a little bit smaller than my card base. And I'm using White Daisy cardstock here, but you could certainly experiment by using other colors of cardstock. And you'll also want to grab a stamp pad. So for this card, I'm using pomegranate ink. And I'm going to use my Cuttlebug. You can use any of the machines that you have at your access. And then I'm just going to simply take my plates, and I'm using this diamond pattern embossing folder. So when you open the embossing folder, what you're going to do is you're going to ink a side of the embossing folder. For this one, because I want that ink pattern to show through on the actual diamonds, then I'm going to ink this side of my folder. If you wanted the negative space, you could simply ink the other side. So let me do that right here for you. I'm going to open my pomegranate ink and simply rub across this embossed folder. Now just do it lightly, but with enough pressure that you're getting good coverage. You want to make sure that all the ink transfers, but that you're not pushing so hard that you're going into those indentations, that the ink is staying on top of that diamond pattern. So it's just kind of that swiping technique. You're just going to ink all over these diamonds until you feel like you've got a nice, even coverage. And then you'll put your paper in, sandwich that down, and now I'm going to feed that through on my Cuttlebug. So here I've got my plates. I'm just going to crank this through. And I always like to go back through the other direction just for safe measure. And you'll see when I open this up that the ink has transferred, as well as the embossed texture has transferred onto my paper. So the white area is the raised area, and all of the indentation space took on that ink, and so my paper is colored and just really makes a nice soft pattern to add to my card. So you can see here on the finished card how that all comes together with just a few simple embellishments, some glitter paper, a stamp, and some sparkles or some sequins, and it's all a beautiful detailed card. So let's look at this other card so you can see just another idea with this same technique. Here I have more of a washed watercolor look, and the way I've achieved that is by taking my embossing folder, and again, the same technique. I'm going to use the more raised side, and I'm going to ink this up, this time with canary ink. You can use any color. You can even experiment with what color of cardstock you use. It doesn't always have to be white, so you can try this in a lot of different ways. So here I've got the canary inked up, and this time I'm going to use watercolor paper. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want that look to go all over and just kind of be uneven. And so I'm going to start with some watercolor paper, and I'm using my spritz pen with just water inside, and I'm going to wet my cardstock. So again, you can be as liberal and generous with that water as you want. The more water, the more the technique is really going to bleed. So now I'm going to take that wet piece of watercolor cardstock, put it into my embossing folder where that canary ink is already placed. You can already see that that's starting to really just wash out, which is the look we're going for. So now I'm going to send this through my Cuttlebug again. And what's happening is the water is reacting with the ink, and it's really going to create that watercolor effect. And there you have it. You can see how that embossed detail still came through, but you've got just kind of a wash of light and dark spots within that canary ink to really give that watercolor look. So here it is again on that finished card. I've got all of my little splotched watercolor details, but then I've added some little paint splatters at the top to really help tie in kind of that organic look with some nice embellishments as well. I hope this video has inspired you to get creative with your embossing folders. Want to get your hands on these products? Then contact your independent consultant or visit closetomyheart.com to find one in your area. Show us your embossing folder artwork using the hashtag #CTMHEmbossing. For more artwork inspiration, visit our blog at makeitfromyourheart.com.